could be a long, cold, and expensive winter in both the UK and Europe. The entire region is facing what could be a severe energy crisis as utilities scramble to buy up natural gas and even coal to keep the lights on and the heat on this winter as well. Already in the UK, over the past month, about half of all smaller energy providers have gone bust. It's all leading to concerns that many of the bigger players could go under as well. Brian Sullivan is live in London with more on how the UK got into this big mess and what might be done about it. And Brian, this is something we've been hearing about for a while, but as it gets a little colder, as we get later into the calendar, it becomes a much more crushing issue. What are you learning?
Yeah, and what we're learning here, Becky, is that it's a cautionary tale. I mean, we're not here, well, we are here because we care about our friends in the UK, but viewers in America may say, well, I don't care about the UK power market. This is a continental Europe story, it is an Asia story, and it could be an America story as well. So let's talk about how we got here and where we may be going, obviously. How we got here was years of divestment away from fossil fuels. That's what they've been talking about in Glasgow and the climate summit. That's the way we want to go. That's the way the world will go, by the way. Ultimately, years of divestment in coal and even nuclear as well, which increased the UK's reliance on things like natural gas and renewables. In fact, no country in the world is as reliant on natural gas for home heating as the UK, very heavily into renewables, particularly offshore wind as well. In fact, on some days, you'll have 45% of UK power being generated by wind. That is a good thing, unless, of course, you have extreme weather events in either direction. And we just have not seen the wind blow that much in the last couple of weeks and months, so the power generation has not been there as much. Plus, 4 years ago, the UK closed its biggest offshore gas field and storage facility. It was called Rough. It was off of the North Sea. They shut that down, which means there's almost no storage for natural gas in the UK, which means they've got to buy it on the spot market. That has not been a problem until now, because continental Europe, Germany, they're doing the same thing. Asia, China, they're doing the same thing. In other words, panic buying around the world. Everybody's buying all that natural gas. Prices have gone from $5 or $6 at what we quote in the United States to $25 or $30 equivalent as well. You factor in then the panic buying, you factor in coal buying, trucker shortages, even Brexit, Becky, and what you've got is this real risk that if this winter, like 2018, which was another La Nina event, they called it the beast from the east here, that if this weather is really cold this winter, that you could literally see tens of thousands of Britons die because they have to choose, as one energy fuel charity told us, between heating or eating. They're hoping for a warmer winter, they're hoping for the wind to blow, and they're hoping for nat gas prices to come down. And like you said in the intro, about half of these small providers have already gone bust. So it's not just about the UK, Becky. This is a global story as well.
Brian, the small providers went bust because they couldn't pass the cost on to consumers. I know there's a delay in how long before you can actually pass the cost on to consumers. How does that work, and will it impact the big players too?
Well, it might. And this is actually, again, why we're here. It's not just about power. It's also about economies and big utilities. So you're right. Here in the UK, for most people, and again, I don't want to generalize, but in most situations, you get these rolling contracts twice a year. The first rollover of price increase just went through. There are caps in how much the utilities are allowed to raise utility rates, kind of like in parts of the United States. They maxed out the cap. It was the biggest jump in UK history. My taxi driver on the way here, he said his heating bill was about £170 a month. His last one was $240. So gone up by about 50%. The real concern, Becky, is in April. The utilities are not able to pass along enough of the cost. They're losing money right now in many situations. There is a real risk either A, they are allowed to raise that cap spectacularly high in April, crushing the consumer, or mid-size or even large utilities are at risk of an industrial scale collapse. We're not talking about these small startups. We're talking about top 3 or 4 utilities in the UK or around the London area. So it's not just an energy story, it's a money story, and it could be a bailout story a la the financial crisis if things get worse here in the winter.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.